Hi angels, and welcome to this video about the tarot. So here I'm going to be giving a background of the tarot. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the structure of the tarot, and then I'm going to be telling you some of my favorite ways to work with the tarot. So if you like this video, if this is helpful to you, then please like this video and subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram at Rainbow Oracle. So the tarot consists of 78 cards or keys that correspond to archetypes or facets of the human experience. And these are things that are eternal and cosmic and part of a fabric of the universe itself. So these archetypes are things that come up again and again throughout civilizations and throughout any civilization that you could imagine. So these are things like the child or the mother or the lover, or these types of roles, types of energies and experiences that are properties of consciousness and relationship and existence in the physical world themselves. Tarot keys themselves are a set of archetypes that tie back to ancient sacred geometry and to the Qabala and to these ancient things that are part of the fabric of life themselves. And the cards are structured in a way that they correspond to different parts of our experience. And then each card is matched with a vast set of ancient and cosmic wisdom that we can access by tying it into that situation that the card speaks to. So in addition to compiling all of this wisdom, the cards also correspond to astrological placements. So some of the cards correspond to planets or zodiac signs, and some of the cards actually correspond to placements such as Mars in Leo or Sun in Gemini. And as well, the cards correspond to numerology and myths and tradition and a whole vast range of things. And every card is a 360-degree view of the energy or type of experience that it speaks to. So there's no good or bad cards. Each card just contains a vast amount of wisdom that is there for you to be accessed, and the specific teachings that are meant for you in any given moment, in the moment that you pull a card or in the moment that you choose to call upon a card. The meaning that is coming up for you in that time will be apparent by the relationship of that card to the other cards around it, or by the associations that pop up in your own mind when you see that card, your own feelings and emotions and intuition. So the meaning of the card is going to be different every time, and the lesson that is here for you is going to be something that's really in the realm of spirit and intuition to find what that is. So I have pages and pages of notes for every card. You could write books on every card, but when you draw a card, it means something specific to you and something specific about you in that moment. So sometimes a card is telling you that yes, you're embodying the highest and best aspects of this energy or of this archetype. And sometimes the card will be showing you, okay, you've gone into this energy too far, you've taken it too far, and you need to come back into balance. Or sometimes it will be showing you that you need to increase your embodiment of that energy in order to have more ease in your situation and in order to receive the wisdom and blessings that are trying to come to you through whatever situation is presenting itself. So, for example, the Queen of Swords is all about speaking your truth, standing in your power, claiming your boundaries, being bold and brave, and saying what needs to be said with clarity and with dignity. And sometimes this card will come up and it's saying, yes, Queen, you are crushing it. Look at you. You are fierce. You are bold. You are speaking those boundaries, and you are just crushing it here. And sometimes that same card will come up and it'll be more of a message of, okay, you need to actually work on your boundaries a little bit. Maybe there's some place in your life where you're having a hard time saying what needs to be said, or you're having a hard time differentiating what's you from what's other people and claiming, okay, this is me, this is what's true for me, and this is what's true for you, and there's a separation there. So again, every card is going to mean something different to you every single time. And what's really beautiful about the tarot is that the meanings of the cards will evolve with you. And as you grow and change, you'll develop relationships with these cards, and they will continue to grow and change and evolve with you, because there is just so much potential in these cards. Everyone speaks to an infinite amount of lessons, an infinite amount of wisdom. And again, every person that interacts with the tarot is going to bring in their own meaning to each card as it corresponds to their own experience. And as with all teachings, it is up to you to take what resonates with you and to leave the rest. So sometimes the message that comes through doesn't resonate and you feel like, I don't think that's for me. And that is totally okay. That is fine. You can just leave that message aside, and sometimes you'll find that it actually does come back and make sense later. And sometimes you'll find that it won't, and that's fine. You don't have to make it mean anything, and it is always up to you to choose what serves you. So now I want to take a moment to talk about the structure of the tarot. So the tarot are divided into the minor arcana, which are broken down into 4 suits, and into the major arcana. So first, let's talk about the major arcana. This is a set of 22 archetypes that correspond to the journey of consciousness, the spiritual journey that humans progress through inevitably. And these keys capture really thematic feelings and experiences and just cosmic energies that are here to guide and expand and evolve us as we move along our path. And these themes are present within a large array of experiences. So these cards don't necessarily speak to a certain experience or a certain type of experience. They're more just like energies that we cycle through again and again as we move through these journeys. And as I said before, the meanings of these cards, and the major arcana especially, will transform and evolve with you as you move through your journey and as you cycle through and through these lessons and these cards in your own pace, in your own timing. So the minor arcana are broken into 4 suits that correspond to the 4 elements: air, fire, water, and earth. And they also correspond to the 4 directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 phases of the moon. They correspond to colors. They correspond to many things, which is a whole other magical discussion that we will not get into right now. But these 4 suits, which correspond to the elements, correspond to the 4 main areas of human life that we are working to master as we progress through this journey. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about each suit now, and if you want to learn more about the tarot, I'm going to link a channel of my amazing, gorgeous angel below who has so much content about the tarot, and you can check out her content and her channel to go more specific into these cards. So the swords are ruled by air, the suit of swords, and air corresponds to mind, to brain chemistry, thought patterns, to consciousness. And this energy, this airy energy, is of logic, intellect, ideas, brilliance. And it also has to do with speech and communication, clarity and truth, boundaries and discrimination. So all of this lies within the realm of the swords. And within the sword suit, there are 10 cards numbered 0 through 10 that correspond to the journey that we move through as we learn to master the mind, as we learn to master this area of life. And then after the first 10 cards are 4 court cards, which are Page, Knight, Queen, King, that depict ways of embodying mastery of the air element, mastery of the mind and intellect and all that corresponds here. So these show different ways that this can be embodied and different ways that it can look like to live in these energies. So that's a little overview about swords. And next we will talk about wands. So wands are ruled by fire, And fire is our internal driving force, our life force energy, our sexual energy, our desire and inspiration. And this has to do with our cultivation, what we're cultivating, what we're building, with our passions, our drive, our determination, our will, our power, our boldness, our leadership, our ability to shine. These Wands cards have to do with growth and virility, with creativity and alchemy. So you can get to the sense of this fire energy in the Wand suit. And again, these have cards 1 through 10 corresponding to the process of mastering this realm of passion. And then cards, the Page, Knight, Queen, and King cards that correspond to embodiments of this passion, life force energy. So now talking about the cups correspond to water. And this has to do with our internal realm, our emotions, our intuition, our psychic and subliminal realms. This has to do with looking deep, deep within, into the subconscious, into our emotions and the way that we process them, into our emotional motivations, into our fantasies and dreams. And these cards also have to do with relationship, with community and romance, and also with fluidity, sensuality, grace, serenity, and pleasure. So this is all within the realm of cups, the realm of emotion and intuition. And the last suit is the Pentacles, which are ruled by Earth. And these cards correspond to our work in the material realm. So this has to do with our body, our home, nature, and the earth. This has to do with money, trade, work, studying, skills. This has to do with groundedness and stability and security, with value and worth, with ownership and patience, and all of these material aspects of our lives that we do learn to balance and master throughout this journey. So once again, the major arcana corresponds to the overarching journey of consciousness, to the spiritual journey. The suit of swords corresponds to mind, air, intellect, thought, communication. Wands correspond to fire, passion, drive, cultivation, desire, boldness, shining. And cups correspond to water, the internal realm, the intuition, the psychicness, the relationships, sensuality, grace, beauty. And pentacles correspond to the material realm, earth, the body, work, trade, skills, security, value, manifestation. So I hope that this overview has given you a glimpse into the structure of the tarot and into the way that the tarot 78 cards kind of create a full picture of the human experience by speaking to the 4 areas of life in which we master and to the overarching journey of consciousness that we are all exploring and expanding through. So the tarot is universal and belongs to everyone. There's no right or wrong way to work with it. And in fact, it's highly empowering to work with it in your own way, to develop your own relationships with the cards and to explore your own connection to these archetypal energies. But the power of the tarot really lies in its ability to tie your experiences and your lessons and your feelings into these cosmic universal themes so that you're not feeling lost or alone as you move through these things. And you see, yes, I'm going through this situation, which is an eternal part of the human experience. Humans have been going through this same exact type of situation for ages and ages and ages, endlessly. And it really helps you to feel that sense of support of the universe, that there is wisdom here for you, for the lessons, for this situation. There is support. And you are not alone. This is not something that is random. This is a part of the journey. And soon you'll see that every experience you have can be tied to a tarot card or to several tarot cards. And that'll help you to see how that experience fits into your larger journey overall. So I want to now talk about some ways that I personally like to use the tarot. And there are infinite ways to use the tarot. Every person can create their own ways. And I really invite you to do this for yourself because it's very empowering to create your own connection to these archetypes, to these energies, and to the really incredible power of working with these cards. And so for me, I like to think of these cards as a way of having a conversation with my higher self, with the universe, with my guides and angels, having a conversation with those energies that are able to see the bigger picture, that are able to see how your current situation, how your current feelings, how it all fits into the bigger picture of your life and to the bigger picture of your awakening journey. So the first way that I like to use the tarot is by pulling a daily card. So you can get your deck and just ask, I'd like to see a guide for this day. What card is coming up to guide me today? And just pulling a card and seeing what messages come through. And sometimes that makes a lot of sense in the morning, and sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then you'll see throughout the day where those energies do start to show up in your life. So that's one way to work with the tarot that's very amazing. And another way that's my favorite way probably is to think of it really as a conversation with your higher self and just ask whatever questions are on your heart. So for example, what is this experience teaching me? Or what is this person teaching me? Or what do I need to feel safe in this moment? Or what energy can help me to move through this experience with more ease? Or what energy can I embody to activate my highest potential in this situation? So there's infinite questions that you could ask. You can come up with them. Sometimes I like to even ask for a message from my angels or a message from a specific ancestor if I feel that they're trying to speak to me and to come through with something. And so just trusting your intuition, trusting that whatever questions that you're asking are really going to allow you to access the medicine that you are calling in this moment. And another way that I like to use the tarot cards is just to contemplate them, to look at them, and to meditate on them. So if there's a card that's coming up for you a lot, or a card that is relevant for you, then just looking at that card for a few minutes and just letting it work its magic on you, noticing, just sitting there with your intuition and allowing the thoughts and associations and whatever comes up for you to surface. And this will show you so much about yourself and so much about who knows what. So this can be very powerful. And another thing that you can do is to actually, after you've looked at that card and you're familiar with what it looks like, you can close your eyes down and imagine going into that card. Imagine stepping into the card and being in that scene, feeling the air, feeling the temperature, looking around, and maybe even talking to the figures in that card, asking them what wisdom they have for you at this time, and really diving in, making it a very felt experience. And I'm going to be sharing some guided visualization meditations that will help you to journey into each card of the major arcana so that you can feel the totality of that energy and what it feels like to have it flowing through you. So other ways to work with the tarot are doing spreads for certain moments. So sometimes I might do a spread for a birthday or for the new year or for some other kind of exciting moment. Or you might draw a spread of, say, 10 cards. And in this spread, each card, each position will correspond to a different question. So for example, what am I mastering this year? What card is coming in as my guide for work this year? What card is coming in as my guide for my relationships this year? What card is coming in as the difficult lesson that I'm going to be going through? So things like this, and you can decide what that spread is going to look like any way you want, or you can look up spreads on the internet. You can see spreads that I'll share or that other people share, but this can be a really helpful way. And also you can do these spreads at the beginning of a sun season to see what that season is going to be stirring up for you. What are the potentials going to be of that energy? And also I like to do spreads for the moon cycle. So I'll pull 3 cards for the full moon, 3 cards for the waning moon, 3 cards for the new moon, and 3 cards for the waxing moon. And I'll pull that all at the full moon. And then as I move through the moon cycle, I will look at these cards and I'll have them out and I'll be able to connect to these energies and these themes that are coming up for me at that time. So that brings me to the last way that I want to share right now about working with the tarot, which is working with it on different timelines. So I have about 8 or 10 cards that I'm working with on the scale of an entire year. So these cards I either pulled in a spread at the beginning of the year, or I can just feel are necessarily thematic elements that are coming up again and again and again throughout this entire year, through a much larger phase of the journey. And so I will keep these cards out on an altar where I can see them and keep returning back to remembering that these are themes, these are lessons, these are guides and teachers that are coming up for me throughout a large period of time that I'm working with on this bigger time scale. And then I also have cards, as I said before, for each phase of the moon cycle, and these are working on a shorter time scale. So for the waning moon, that's a period of about 2 weeks. For the new moon, maybe that's like 3 or 4 days around the new moon. Same for the full moon, and then you have a couple of weeks of the waxing moon. And so these are shorter periods of time. And again, for each of those periods, I like to have 3 cards where I'll ask different questions for those cards. But then I'll keep those cards also on my altar so that I can see, okay, in kind of a shorter, few days to weeks realm of time, these are the energies that I'm working with. These are the things that are coming up for me. And then each day, I personally draw about 4 cards every day. The first card is a guide card, whatever card is coming in to guide me. And then after that, I'll ask a few more questions. So if I'm going to be seeing somebody on that day, I might ask, what lesson is this person bringing me on this day? Or if I'm feeling some kind of weirdness, I might say, like, what's coming up for me right now? What is this weird feeling in my chest? And you can really kind of get answers for whatever you're looking for, and just do this intuitively. But then looking at those cards on my altar as well, in relationship to those moon cycle cards and to those year cards, allows me to have a really beautiful picture of where I am at this moment in my journey. So that when I look to my altar, I can see, okay, today I'm working with this. In this kind of weeks, I'm working with these energies, and in this whole year, I'm working with these energies, and you can really start to see how it all fits together. And this is really powerful for tapping you into your intuition, into your own guidance, and your own ability to recognize the cosmic nature of your situation and to feel that, so that you're not feeling alone and scared and separate as you're moving through your life and as you're moving through this journey and the initiations and challenges that are going to coming up for you to help to move you through this awakening. So really looking at this from all of the time perspectives and getting that higher view helps you to connect so that you can see from the perspective of your higher self more of an overview of where you are at this point, and get some perspective so that you can stop being overwhelmed in your current situation, thinking, why is this happening? What's going on? And instead realize that this is all taking place in a broader context of your evolution. So I hope that this video has been helpful. I hope that it's inspired you to look more into the tarot for yourself, and has given you some ideas for ways that you could work with the tarot, and hopefully has also empowered you to know that the tarot belongs to you and the archetypes belong to you, and they all live within you, and it is up to you to explore them and express them and embody them in the way that feels like nectar to your soul, in a way that nourishes you and supports you, and in a way that brings you joy. So thank you so much for joining me for this video. I look forward to talking to you again very soon. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful day.